Ken Sample in New York saw these characters and went, whoa, these are cool characters. I'm going to create another one like that for the New York chapter mascot. And this kind of started building a little momentum. And I guess it was by the time we got to 1989, Rodney and I were living together in our house in Garden Grove. We would have small fan gatherings from time to time. We went to Losses. We went to lots of conventions. In '85, we went to WesternCon. WesternCon is a Western regional science fiction convention, but it's bid on by groups in different cities. So it moves all up and down the West Coast. It's in San Diego, it's in Sacramento, it's in Vancouver, it's even in Hawaii once.
You said that was in 1989?
No, this is '85.
Oh, 85.
He jumped ahead and then
I'm
jumped
sorry,
back.
I'd forgotten about the first furry con at WesternCon in Sacramento in '85. Steve Galacci was down there. Steve Galacci had started his comic Albedo with Irma Thelma.
You sent me a Christmas card in 1980 that had Albedo characters on it.
Well, that was some of it was Ken's characters before he started the comic. That one was just Irma Thelma.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
They were playing
Ken started attracting. He became a gravitational center the instant he started putting out art, because he was putting out art of Irma Thelma type characters long before he got into comics. He was putting stuff into art shows all over the place, and the furry fans would be.
Yeah, the old Albedo Zero. Before he got the comic going, he put out this little homemade comic in the same format as that one we're passing around.
Oh, may I borrow that?
Yeah.
Speaking for those who haven't seen, Irma Thelma. All bow before Irma Thelma.
That's nice.
This, as I said, the instant the instant Steve started putting this around and art like it, the furry fans began to gravitate.
So at the WesternCon, we were stuck in another hotel because we couldn't afford the main hotel, and we had some friends that had a room, and Brett got me in. One said, hey, you want to use our room tonight for a party? And we thought, well, what kind of a party? Most parties are kind of themed at least a little bit.
You know, getting back, I can't remember, since we weren't planning on anything when we went up to the con, I can't remember why we brought Animalytics along. Boy, it was fortunate that we had it.
It was something I thought they might add to the deal.
Okay.
So we had
Another Bon Mott, Animalytics.
we had Animalytics, which was this really cool television special that never got shown because the U.S. was kind of doing.
It was on TV.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I saw.
Well, what it was the producers, because the summer games got canceled, desperately trying to make their money back. Hi, Mario. They took the winter and summer games and smooshed them together almost randomly into this really, for me personally, very hard to watch feature version that just kind of.
They made a 90-minute animated movie.
So, but then this nut and his friends got together and took that and excised out all the winter games part and stuck it back together. So they created a sort of a version of the summer games like it was originally meant to be shown. And that's what we were showing around the conventions, was the winter games, which they recorded on TV. And that did get aired. And the summer games.
Copy of it in existence.
Yeah.
The
It
summer
seems
games.
like I may be the only person recording that television show.
Only the person who has the only copy of it.
Yeah.
I saw it on YouTube.
So we
did
got
I.
together
Oh, yeah, I
and
did too.
We had tons of Ken Sample art people look through, my art, some stories, Animal Olympics, some Warner Brothers cartoons we had bootleg copies of. And we had this room party, which we called the Prancing Wheelchair Party, came back to our house. And it was pretty popular.
But we should mention that the guy who did that, the guy who volunteered his room, was Sheldon Linker.
Yeah.
Who's another name who should be better known in furry fandom, because Sheldon was busy. He was a programmer and a rather well-to-do computer guy, and he was spending his spare time creating an animation program. And he came out with this thing called Animation Stand, yeah, from Linker Systems, which is one of the first Flash-type things out there. And it got kind of overshadowed later on by other programs that came after it, but for a short while there, it was really the go-to program for computer animation in 2D if you didn't have...
Yes, for doing, standard 2D animation, it was basically a computer-aided animation program. So you would do the drawings and the overlays and everything with the
Onion
computer,
scanning.
and, you could scan these to actually draw
So Sheldon was the nut who suggested to this guy, and it's important to note that that was not called a furry party. That was called, as he said, the Prancing Skill Tear Party. Fast forward 1 year to WesterCon 86, HalleyCon, because of the return of Halley's Comet, in San Diego. And we tried it again. And this time, people had started... Oh, I should mention, there was an interesting presentation at HalleyCon because furry fandom had started, the word had started to spread slowly. So for some reason, some nut at HalleyCon decided to have a furry fandom presentation. And this guy was on the panel, along with Steve Galachi, kind of representing modern funny animals at that point. Fred Patton was there representing classic funny animals from back in the 40s and so forth. Bruce Pells was there, who was just a well-known all-around fan, and he was representing plushie collectors, which I thought was hilarious. He called them stuffies, but he had this pile of plushies with him. And then there was a lady at the other end, I cannot remember her name for the life of me, but she was a real animal fan. She actually raised horses and things like that. So they had the five of them discussing furry fandom, as it was called. And so we decided to call the party that night a furry party. And we specifically invited artists to come in. The important thing is to realize that was a little different then is there had been artist parties before. We'd been to several of them. We'd managed to sneak our way in. But for the most part, the only people who were allowed to go to artist parties were artists. There were parties for people who had art